Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be from my conversation with lifestyle expert and interior designer Lauren Makk, sharing how you guys can spruce up your home just in time for fall. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In international news, UN chief says world is paralyzed and equity is slipping away. In an alarming assessment, the head of the United Nations warned world leaders on Tuesday that nations are gridlocked in colossal global dysfunction and aren't ready or willing to tackle the challenges that threaten humanity's future and the planet. Our world is in peril and paralyzed, he said. Speaking at the opening of the General Assembly's annual high-level meeting, the Secretary General made sure to emphasize that hope remained, but his remarks reflected a tense and worried world. He cited the war in Ukraine and multiplying conflicts around the world, the climate emergency, the dire financial situation of developing countries, and setbacks in UN goals for 2030, including an end to extreme poverty and quality education for all children. He also warned of what he called a forest of red flags around new technologies, despite promising advances to heal diseases and connect people. The Secretary General said social media platforms are based on a model that monetizes outrage, anger, and negativity and buys and sells data to influence our behavior. Artificial intelligence, he says, is compromising the integrity of information systems, the media, and indeed democracy itself. The world lacks even the beginning of a global architecture to deal with the ripples caused by these new technologies because of geopolitical tensions, he said. His opening remarks came as leaders from around the planet reconvened at UN headquarters in New York after 3 years of pandemic interruptions, including an entirely virtual meeting in 2020 and a hybrid one last year. This week, the halls of the United Nations are filled once more with delegates reflecting the world's cultures. Many faces were visible, though all delegates are required to wear masks except when speaking to ward off the coronavirus. In national news, arbiter in Trump probe signals intent to move quickly. The independent arbiter tasked with inspecting documents seized in an FBI search of former President Donald Trump's Florida home said on Tuesday he intends to push briskly through the review process and appeared skeptical of the Trump's team's reluctance to say whether it believed the records had been declassified. We're going to proceed with what I call responsible dispatch, Raymond Deary, a veteran Brooklyn judge, told lawyers for Trump and the Justice Department in their first meeting since his appointment last week as a so-called special master. The purpose of the meeting was to sort out next steps in a review process expected to slow by weeks, if not months, the criminal investigation into the retention of top-secret information at Mar-a-Lago after Trump left the White House. As special master, Deary will be responsible for sifting through thousands of documents recovered during the August 8 FBI search and segregating those protected by claims of executive privilege or attorney-client privilege. Though Trump's lawyer had requested the appointment of a special master to ensure an independent review of the documents, one of the former president's attorneys, James Trusty, made clear they were concerned that Deary's proposed deadlines were too ambitious. The lawyers are also resisting Deary's request for information about whether the seized records had been declassified, as Trump had maintained. In a letter to Deary on Monday night, the lawyers said that issue could be part of Trump's defense in the event of an indictment. In more national news, the Associated Press says racism seen as root of water crisis in Mississippi capital. The crisis in the city of Jackson isn't over, says the Associated Press, even if its boil water advisory was lifted on last Thursday. While the state plans to stop handing out free bottled water at sites around the city said water pressure still hasn't been fully restored, and state health officials said lead in some pipes remains so worrisome that pregnant women and young children should still use bottled water. Other residents told the Associated Press on last week that their water remains too discolored to count on, so now they'll have to rely on water distribution by community-run charities or buy water again themselves, adding insult to injury. Jackson had already been under a state health department boil water notice for a month when torrential rains fell in August, flooding the Pearl River and overwhelming the treatment system. In entertainment news, Golden Globes to return to NBC in January after a year off air. After a year spent off air, the Golden Globe Awards are returning to NBC in January as the embattled Hollywood Foreign Press Association seeks a primetime comeback after more than a year of turmoil. NBC, the Hollywood Press Association, and Dick Clark Productions on Tuesday made the Globe's return official. The 80th Golden Globes will be held January 10th, airing both on NBC and Peacock. And finally, in business news, stocks closed lower ahead of Fed decision on interest rates. Stocks finished broadly lower Tuesday as Wall Street, increasingly anxious about the slowing economy, looks ahead to a widely expected interest rate hike by the Fed Reserve in its bid to squash the highest inflation in decades. The S&P 500 fell 1.1% as more than 90% of stocks in every sector in the benchmark index lost ground. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Ready for your Wednesday wake-up call? Stop being a bystander in life. It's not enough to simply be alive. You have to get about living. So let's get to it. Have an amazing Wednesday. Lifestyle expert and interior designer Lauren Makk is in today's Entertainment Spotlight. We're here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Lifestyle expert and interior designer Lauren Makk joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to share how you guys can be able to spruce up your home in time for fall. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Thank you so much for having me today, Cyrus.
Hey, we definitely need an expert when it comes to this, Lauren, because I'm not the one. So I'm so glad that you're going to be here to be able to help our audience out. So why is fall a good time, Lauren, to make some changes to our home?
Well, I think that every season is a good time to make some changes, but fall is particularly unique because the kids are back in school. You've got a really cool window of time to get your house ready for the upcoming holiday gets, and there's some incredible fall deals out there.
Love it, love it. So, when it comes to, thinking about what we want to do, Lauren, what is a trendy home decor change that can really make a splash in our home?
Well, I'm always preaching about living a life of affordable luxury, and when I found the Masonite sliding barn door kit, I about fell out because it's the marriage of boom. They're stylish, they're space-saving, and these barn doors are perfect for laundry rooms, pantries, bedrooms, closets, and dens. I also love that you can use them to conceal areas or make an area private in your home. Now, the barn doors come in an all-in-one kit and are offered in a variety of styles and colors for any decor. Plus, you can do it yourself in less than 90 minutes, and I love that. The Masonite Sliding Barn Door All-in-One Kit is available at HomeDepot.com or Wayfair.com.
Love that, Lauren, and I'm glad you mentioned with the barn door kit where they can get it. So that leads me to my next question, then. Other suggestions you may have when it comes to shopping for home decor. A lot of times when we're trying to think about what we need, where do we go?
Well, you're so right. I often get overwhelmed when it comes to being online, but I have found slickdeals.net. And so whether I'm looking to repaint or tackle a bigger project, I always start by visiting Slick Deals. It's a community of millions of real people working together to save, so you can be confident you're getting the best deal out there. It's like having 12 million of your best shopping friends helping each other vet and vote the best deals from top retailers like Home Depot, for instance, to find deals on home improvement supplies. And you're getting the best product at the best price.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. But we have to get on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.